Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terri Morrow and I'm here with Catherine Haleko. Say hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week we're going to talk about the season just passed of This Is Us, if Catherine can find enough tissues to talk about it. And we are going to revisit the 2003 Amanda Bynes starring movie What a Girl Wants. But first, Dancing with the Stars, week 3. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes.
Week 3.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of this week's Dancing with the Stars, Catherine?
I thought that for once the theme worked well.
It did.
Vegas night was right up their alley, and it was a lot more fun than, my most memorable year, which is always when someone dies or something.
I think that's next week, so
yeah, I know,
from
it's
the
coming.
highs to the lows.
It's coming. But I just thought it was fun, like the opening number to the whole
Loved
show
the opener.
Was really fun. I liked Simone and Sasha's Elvis routine. I thought that was fun. So yeah, I thought that it had some good stuff going for it. And, sometimes the theme is really, sometimes the theme is really hokey, which this was, but it was hokey on purpose, and so it worked.
Yes.
So I like that.
It's hokey in the same ways that Dancing with the Stars is hokey. So
yes. Exactly.
Dancing with the Stars is like the Las Vegas of television, so...
Right.
It was a good match. Yeah, I was really happy with the opening number. I want to find that on YouTube and watch it again a bunch of times so I could spot everybody. Yeah. But it doesn't seem to me like they've done one where the stars are dancing in it this early in the season before. So I was really surprised. And they did great, each to their own abilities. Right. But, it made it just a whole lot of fun.
I agree.
So that was a great way to start it off. Were you heartbroken to see the last of Charo?
No, I was not heartbroken to say goodbye to Charo. I continue to feel bad for Keo. And also Charo in that dance, you couldn't see her legs or feet.
Conveniently.
So who knows what she was doing under that skirt. So,
it's interesting to me. I mean, you never know. There's always stories about producers manipulating things and all of that. She was so unpleasant the first 2 weeks. And last week especially, she just seemed dangerous, and not in a fun way. Right. And then this week, she seemed perfectly in control of herself. She danced. I mean, it's true you couldn't see what her feet were doing, but she danced respectfully for what one would expect from her. And she seemed fine. If she had been that way the first 2 weeks, she might still be there. Yeah. Which makes me wonder, did she think it was a good idea to be doing all that ridiculous stuff? Or did the producers think it would be funny and then it wasn't? Who is responsible for that behavior, I wonder? If it's her, then, well, she deserves to get booted. If it was somebody's idea of a storyline and got her booted early, then that stinks. Right. And coming after Chris Kattan sort of having sour grapes about the way his story was told or not told, it makes sort of an uncomfortable start for an otherwise enjoyable season. So, I don't know.
Well, and she seemed pretty clear that she would be going home.
Yeah, she seemed to know.
She was saying her goodbyes for the whole episode. So.
I mean, I don't think you could read any commentary of last week and feel like you had made a good, fun impression. Right. Pretty much everywhere I read, it was like, well, she can't go home soon enough. Yeah. So, in which case I would have thought she would just come on again with double the crazy just to say, bleep
this is
you.
Me, so enjoy.
But, to come back and be all sorts of reasonable, it's too late. People have already voted. You're already gone, lady. Right. So that kind of makes me wonder. But Mr. T is sure putting in the effort there to be the last old-timer standing. He seems very into it and understanding of what needs to be done. And, for what he can do, he's doing his best. Yeah. And really Kim is choreographing well for him, I think.
Yeah. And they had fun with their showgirls in their number.
Yeah, so. And a skillful removal of a loose prop from the stage by whatever troupe member that was gave that hat a little kick.
Mm-hmm.
I was applauding, and I saw the chat room I was in. People were saying, "Good on that trooper, excellent."
Good work.
just very discreetly, a little extra kick in the dance, and it's gone.
And it's gone. You see that in skating often.
Yes.
You know, sometimes when they have hats or something that they take off during the performance and they don't get, you know, they're supposed to be put away to the side or whatever, and then someone has to give a little pick it up or shove it or whatever. Yes. So yeah, that's a familiar strategy.
I see that with baton twirlers with my daughter's marching band back in the day. You know, I meant to drop that. It's fine. Right. It's part of the dance. Let me just pick it up now. I thought most of the dancing was pretty enjoyable. I thought the scores were completely incomprehensible. The people who were given the same scores for wildly different abilities and success in dancing. Right. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. And, you know, if one was suspicious, you would think that they were lowballing certain people to get people to vote for them. I don't know if that's the case. But
if one were suspicious.
I really liked Nancy's dance. I thought hers might have been my favorite of the night. I thought she did really good, you know, and knowing that it's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world for her. And she did fine. She's really picking it up well. I mean, she has some skills from her past, but I don't get the impression that she's been doing a lot of dancing.
Well, certainly not a lot of shaking your bon-bon.
Not a lot of sambas. Does she still skate? Is she skate in some of the shows that they do?
Well, I think very occasionally.
Okay. That was my impression. In which case, I mean, if she was still doing this as a regular gig, then you could say,
yeah,
it would be less impressive. But I thought she did very well. I liked hers a lot. David, on the other hand, can they please just give this guy a nice ballroom dance? I mean, he's had gimmicky stuff for 3 weeks now, and he is game, and he does it with a smile on his face, and he's adorable, and that's great. But I would like, it's enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Just give him a waltz. Can he have a waltz? Can he just put a tuxedo on and do a nice waltz with the cute blonde girl? It's not that hard. This was. I mean, somebody obviously thought this would be funny to have him do the Magic Mike thing. And it wasn't. No, I don't really need to see that.
I didn't enjoy it.
Although I did get a good laugh out of the, ab t-shirt he was wearing.
Yeah, that was funny. That I will give them. But yes, I agree. Let's just stop with the.
He gets points for being game, and I don't think that he's in any danger. But it would be great to see him actually dance. Yeah. So I look forward to that.
Because he seems like he could do it.
He does. He does. I mean, he would be somewhere between Mr. T and Nick in ability and grace, but I think he could do a respectable job.
Yeah.
And I would like to see that. Instead of yet another gimmicky thing that's, playing on his being an incredibly good sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that just makes him kind of one note, which I guess everyone suffers from that.
Yeah, that's true.
To some extent.
But we've played that one note. Let's find a different note, and then you can milk that for a little while. But good on him for, and he got incredibly high scores for it. What were those pity? We're so sorry we made you do that, man. Here, have a 7.
We'll throw you some good scores.
Yeah, have an 8. Anyway, I know Rashad's been one of your favorites. He seemed not as good as last week.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, he moves well, so it's enjoyable to watch him dance. But it didn't seem... I thought Emma seemed a little off also.
Yeah, that wasn't a great one for him. But I still enjoy watching him.
He's getting the bad one out early.
Yeah, on Previously TV's coverage, they said, when he gets toward the end and he gets to redo a dance, he should do that one.
Yes.
And show that he can do it better.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's still, and he was a good sport about it in terms of accepting that, he wasn't getting huffy about not having done that great. Neither Bonner nor Erica made any impression on me this week at all. I just have kind of meh down in my notes for the two of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Erica could leave anytime now.
Yeah.
Bye, sweetie. It's just, I have no interest in her at all. She is either outright annoying to me, or just, oh, she's still here. Oh yeah, that's right. She's in this. Right. So, and Normani is very good. She continues to be very good.
Yeah.
And I don't know what sort of voting base she has to stay in it, but, she's certainly making a good impression. She's very cute in her packages, which is helpful.
Right.
So it's moving along. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking forward to next week.
Because of the whole thing. I believe
next week is yes, Bare Your Soul week. And
yes. Not our favorite.
Not our favorite. Can't they just dance? Do they really need the gimmicks? Could they just please dance? What did you think of the Derek and Julianne number? That was like the So You Think You Can Danciest thing.
Yes.
That you could dance.
Oh, Terry's not going to like this. I fast-forwarded it. I mean, I fast-forwarded on the slowest fast-forward so that I could, get a
the
good
general
sense
idea
of it. But yeah, and then... then afterwards talking to them like, oh, it's about their parents' divorce. I'm like, oh, come on.
Well,
guys.
of course it is. It's always about something like that.
Right. It is.
It was worth watching only to admire the people who were standing there representing, I guess, the parents and the children. Mm-hmm. And frozen for that entire number as they were danced around. And so there was two little kids. And they were, I was like, are those statues, or are those really? Is that little girl
children.
Really standing there with her arm out for all this time? Good on her. Maybe when the camera was off her, they like shook their limbs for a minute and then went back to it. Right. I don't know, but I'm more impressed with that than any actual dancing that was done. Mm-hmm. That was good on you, sweetie. Right. But yeah, you know how much Let's please not dance about social issues.
As soon as you see the bare feet, you're like, oh, here it
We're
comes.
in for it now. Well, I was confused because I thought I had heard Tom say, let's look at a little of this and then we'll see the dance after the break. And then they just kept dancing. So I thought, well, I guess I must have misunderstood, or else they're showing a really long snippet. How long is the actual thing going to be?
I think what he said was that it was a preview of their show, their touring show.
That makes sense. But that is not how it reached my ears. So, I thought it was a preview of something they were showing later in the show.
Right.
So my daughter liked that the best of all the dancing. She said, I like that dancing. And I said, well, then you should watch So You Think You Can Dance. She said, I don't think that's still on anymore.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to bring it back.
So she likes contemporary over ballroom. I can live without it.
Yes.
And let's see. So, well, that was another week. And we look forward to the week after next, but we will watch next week's anyway.
Because the week after next is Disney? Or just because
I don't care, because the week after next is not my most memorable year, which is basically... let me bare my soul to its inner torment for your enjoyment. So, I don't know. Does anybody ever have a happy most memorable year? I guess from time to time. I wonder if you lose points for that.
I mean, I bet you David's is going to be the Cubs winning the series.
I am hoping it is, and I will applaud that and give him extra votes just for not having terrible things. Maybe Simone's to be winning.
Simone could be the Olympics,
Yes. Poor Nancy, this is I'm going to be a good week for her.
Oh my God.
Because you know what they have to do.
You know what they want to make her do.
I'm sure having her children was a memorable year. And, she had successes in her sporting life. But that's what they're going to have to do. And there's no way she can do that gracefully. And there's so many people who make fun of her for it. And, if she just does the least little bit of this, the things that people make fun of, she's going to lose votes. People are going to say nasty things about her. I just wish, could she just call in sick that week?
Exactly.
My years have all been exactly the same. I have nothing memorable. Can I just
to say.
This is my bye week.
Right.
Oh, she cannot win, poor dear, but I will maybe throw her an extra vote just out of sympathy, because It's not fair. Anyway, so moving on from that, we're going to talk about a series that you quite enjoyed this season, I believe, in a weepy sort of way.
Yeah.
Which is This Is Us. Now, the season is done for now.
The season is over, yep. And I think, like a lot of people, I didn't love the finale, the season finale, as much as some of the other shows. The one right before that was extremely powerful and, tear-inducing. But then the next one was not so much, and they really played it up like this. They're gonna, which I knew they weren't, but they played it up like they were gonna reveal how one of the characters dies, who you already know that you know that he died, but you don't know how or when or what happened.
Yeah, and then they didn't do it.
And then they didn't do it, which I knew they wouldn't, you know. Right. Like, of course they're not going to show all their cards when they have, when they could make a summer cliffhanger, which is what they did. So yeah.
But it's a cliffhanger that you know the general ending of, right?
You know that this character dies, but you don't know how or when. And the entire season basically has been leading up to, has been making you question what happened, making you wonder. And, they really laid it on thick in the finale that it was going to be a drunk driving accident, and then it wasn't. So, I think a lot of people I think most people figured that they wouldn't give it away.
Yeah.
Because, they want people to come back in the fall.
I guess, but if you tick people off, maybe they won't come back. It wasn't that annoying. You still would go back.
I would still go back, for the whole show. Yeah. I don't even... There's so many storylines and there's so many characters that you don't even have to fully care about some of them to still be compelled to watch the show.
I want to see that on their poster. You don't even have to care about some of them to want to watch the show.
Pick one or two, then you're good.
And then you can, do
fast
work
forward
on your computer in between.
Right. Yeah,
You can Oh, it's her.
Yeah.
I watched, I guess, the pilot, the premiere of it. And then I don't think I've watched any episodes. I might have watched a couple of episodes, but I lost. I mean, as we've talked about many times, it's really difficult for me to stick with something, even if I like it. I just don't have the time. It piles up on my DVR, and especially if it's something that I feel I have to pay attention to.
Right.
I keep pretty much on top of the NCISs just because they're really, all three of those from that genre, I can do work while I watch them. And I still enjoy it, but I can also get my work done. They don't require my full brain or any emotions whatsoever. So I value those.
This one definitely gets...
This one I would probably want to stop and pay attention to it, and I just don't have that kind of time for an hour-long drama. And it also seemed awfully manipulative.
Well,
and I, maybe in my old age, don't enjoy that quite as much as I might have at one time. I mean, this is the sort of thing that used to be just my obsession, would be this sort of creatively done family dramas, 30-something and Once and Again I liked, and
it definitely has a 30-something.
Those were just
vibe.
right up my alley. And then I just, Parenthood is one that should have been my obsession, and I just couldn't get with it. I think it's just the time in my life and the time I have available and just what I'm willing to invest my heart in has changed with time. And I feel bad about it. I look at those things and I say, I remember when I used to watch those. I remember when I used to like those, and it still doesn't get me there. Yeah. But I have read reviews. I keep up with things on reviews and recaps, and a lot of people have mentioned that the Randall, is that the one character's name?
That's the Sterling K. Brown.
Yes, that he's the one. They could just kind of pretty much strip everybody else away and make it his show, and it would be wonderful.
He is so good.
And
that's amazing.
I know when the part that I watched, I felt that the other brother was kind of uninteresting, and I've heard a lot of people complain that the sister is pretty much just a walking wait plot and nothing else. So that they wished that she had something else interesting about her. Yeah, so it's, it's obviously the writers found certain characters that they found more interesting. And, and we got to write something for these guys too. Oh yeah, what should we say? Okay.
Yeah, I think, he's just such a good actor, Sterling K. Brown.
Yes.
And the storyline has been really good with him.
And not as oft told as the travails of an actor or the travails of a person dealing with weight problems.
Right.
Those things we know pretty well.
Yeah, and it's the whole reconnecting with the birth father.
Exactly.
And the dealing with a stressful job. And there's a lot. It's sort of universal things, but just the way he does them is really good. Yeah. And the way it's written. So.
Right. So you will be tuning in again next season.
Yeah, I think I will. Yep.
And waiting for that guy to die already. We know you're gonna die. Would you just die?
Dead. I just don't know what killed him.
They need to do a choose your own adventure episode where it's should he die in a drunk driving crash?
Right.
Should he die falling off a building?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody dial in. We have that technology now.
That's right. Just like on Dancing with the Stars.
That's right. Vote for how you want to see this guy killed.
Right.
Did Mandy Moore's old age makeup get any better than the last time I saw it?
No, it's pretty bad. Her and the guy who plays her husband.
Oh, yes. Guy from Castle.
He's in both parts, too.
Yeah.
No, it's not successful.
I was very happy to see him get another gig after Castle, but still, the old age makeup stuff is a problem when you're doing this sort of show.
Yeah, and, don't we have the technology?
CGI them. Come on. How hard could it be?
I just feel like you could turn people into candlesticks and wardrobes and harpsichords. Why can't you do a convincing wig and some wrinkles? I don't know. It's weird.
Because it just really takes you out of the story when you see that.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I could see problems there. I think that's the last episode I watched was the one where she comes to the door with him.
Uh-huh.
And you go, what?
And you're like, what? Maybe more. Hold up.
Yeah. So, I probably won't ever get into that, but I will continue to read reviews of it and recaps and hear you and Nicole talking about it.
Yeah.
You need to, has somebody developed a weepiness scale for that show? Where, for each episode, you could give it, 1 to 10 hankies or something?
Yeah, well, on my, I forgot where it was on Facebook, whether it was on a post I made or someone else made. We were talking about how, the second to last one was like a 10 tissue show. And the last one was 1 to 2.
That's disappointing.
So it was a big difference.
Because those folks know how to jerk tears. I mean, the promo for that thing, I was crying over, and I didn't even know what it was about. It's just something about the music and the pretty people and But anyway, well, thanks for sharing your take of that after the first season, and we'll look forward to hearing about the second season. And finally, we're moving on to the challenge round. This week, I challenged you to watch one of my favorite movies, which is What a Girl Wants, the 2003 movie with Amanda Bynes and Colin Firth. I make no great claims to its artistic merit. It just makes me smile every time I watch it. And I watched it again, and you know what? I smiled again. So very briefly, What a Girl Wants is the story of Daphne Reynolds, a young woman in New York who has been raised by her single mother, played by Kelly Preston. Every birthday, she has this, gets told the story of how her mother met her father, and they had a brief fling in Morocco, and then they went back to his very proper British parents, and who did not approve of her, and she was told that he didn't want her there anymore, and so she left with her guitar and her sad face. And later found out she was pregnant, so she has raised this child on her own without telling the father that she even exists. So, of course, now once Daphne is of the age to be played by Amanda Bynes, she decides she's going to go to England and find her father. And that is basically all you need to know to enjoy this movie.
That's right.
Pretty much. It proceeds from there exactly like you think it would proceed. Father is played by Colin Firth, so he is, of course, adorable. Yes. Catherine, what did you think about What a Girl Wants?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I ended up watching it with my daughter. And my son was like half paying attention. And we both liked it. I mean, we both agreed that it was quite predictable. You know? I mean, when Amanda Bynes is in the boat with her love interest and we're like, well, they're both going in the water any minute now. And sure enough, seconds later, okay, now they're gonna kiss. Like, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yes.
I mean, I really like Colin Firth. Like, looking at Colin Firth for a couple hours is
not
no
hard
problem.
Work.
And yeah, it was cute. And I laughed because his annoying fiance played the same part in 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Yes, I was thinking of that. she had that like on her resume.
Right.
The annoying British woman you jilt before you find your true love.
Right.
Your true American love in both cases.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And in that one, in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, they have the little like update at the end, and I think she married Prince Charles.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah. So, she was predictably awful. I mean, it is extremely predictable, but sometimes that's what you want. It's just enjoyable to be able to call out all the things, and just, when they storm out at the end, you're just waiting, checking your watch. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's coming back. But, it was satisfying that he got to punch his political advisor first. So.
Right. Yeah, because that guy was...
He was awful.
A bad dude.
Yes, he
not
was.
Not a good person.
Yes, that whole family.
Mm-hmm.
They got what was coming to them. And
yes, they did. So, yeah, but I enjoyed it. I didn't understand really the title.
Yeah, the title is a problem, and I have felt bad about that title since the thing came out. It was the Christina Aguilera song was a few years before, and I just got to think some middle-aged dude around a conference table thought, hey, the kids like that song, let's put it on this movie, and the kids will like this movie. But it's just, it doesn't have anything to do with the movie.
No, it really doesn't.
I mean, she wants a dad, I guess, but that's not necessarily universally what a girl wants.
No.
And the song is not in the movie.
Right.
It's got a great soundtrack, though. I listen to that soundtrack from time to time. I really like the music on that. And so it's just a big miss.
It really is, because it's so generic, like rom-com-y, and it just, it had so much more potential.
I know. And I think at the time, people avoided it because it seemed to be cheaply trying to jump on the bandwagon of a popular song. Oh, it's that movie that took that title. That's stupid.
Right.
Whereas it's just a perfectly nice, respectable little teen girl. I guess it's a romantic comedy, if you can...
Yeah, I think it is.
It's sort of a double romantic comedy, if you can think of
and
falling for your dad, but...
Well, because it definitely has romantic elements, but I did enjoy that it was kind of a nice little twist that, at the end when the person you've left in a huff comes to find you, it was her dad and not a guy, even though
he brought the guy.
He brought the guy, yes.
Guy probably couldn't afford to fly over on his own, but... maybe he could have got a job on a cruise ship.
It was kind of funny how that guy, who it was supposedly like a struggling musician, but he's playing for the actual queen.
That's right.
Like, really? How is that happening?
He's got connections.
Yeah.
But, well, I'm glad you and your family enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed watching again. Amanda Bynes is somebody... my kids were watching Nickelodeon at the time when she was on All That and The Amanda Show, so we feel like we kind of watched her grow up. And also, she's from my hometown.
Oh.
And I believe she went to my high school. She participated in a theater group that I did one show with, so I feel like, I have a special interest in her and her career. So that particularly added to my enjoyment of this movie. And Colin Firth. How cute.
Yes.
I mean, really. He was.
Exactly.
I mean, this is not the most challenging movie of his career. It probably was a paycheck. Maybe he had to finish some work in a house or something. So sure, I will be in your little teen comedy movie. But
and I will shimmy in some
exactly
leather pants.
But he gives it the full measure of adorableness. He does not shirk it off.
No.
So now you have a challenge for me for next week.
Yeah. So going ahead with the fish out of water, traveling around the world to seek your fortune. There is a series, and I can't remember where it originally aired. It might have been on the National Geographic Channel or something. Ricky Gervais has this guy that he works with named Carl, and he decides Carl is like a homebody. He, doesn't like going anywhere, likes his routine, likes his creature comforts. But, so Ricky's like, I'm going to send you to some foreign lands. see what you can see. You need to see the world. So it's called An Idiot Abroad, because this guy, Carl, goes abroad and basically just doesn't appreciate what he's seeing, is really annoyed by everything around him, doesn't want to try any new food or see any sights. He's just like, I hate this, I want a sausage, whatever. So it's been a few years since I watched it, so we'll see how well it ages, but I remember just laughing in spite of myself quite a bit at this show. So it's on Netflix, An Idiot Abroad, and we'll just watch the very first one, season 1, episode 1.
All right. And that is going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes, including our daily speed rounds and weekly group chats. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terry.
Goodbye, everybody.